You will never become who you're meant to be while surrounded by the noise that keeps you weak. To rebuild yourself, you must first be willing to burn down the old version, the one built on comfort, approval, and fear. Isolation isn't punishment. It's purification. When you are alone, you meet your real self, not the one the world shaped, but the one you were born to become. This is the process of destruction and rebirth. This is how you turn silence into strength, solitude into structure, and pain into power. Welcome to the rebuilding. Chapter 1. Burn the old identity to the ground. You've been carrying a version of yourself that was never meant to last. A version built from fear, from survival, from trying to fit in. That version got you here, but it can't take you any further. You have to burn it down. Completely. Without hesitation. You can't rebuild while protecting the ruins. That's the key. Every weakness you justify, every excuse you defend, every comfort you cling to, that's part of the old identity. And as long as you keep feeding it, it will keep running your life. The old you was built to survive. The new you must be built to conquer. When you were younger, you learned to adapt to your surroundings. You learned to please people. You learned to stay quiet when you should have spoken. You learned to act small to avoid attention. But adaptation is not evolution. You don't evolve by blending in, you evolve by breaking away. That's what this chapter is about. The destruction of who you think you are. Because everything that limits you right now is attached to that false identity. You have to strip it away, piece by piece. Start with your habits. Look at how you move through your day. What time you wake up. What you feed your mind. What you do when no one is watching. Ask yourself one question. Is this what the strongest version of me would do? If the answer is no, it burns. It has to. You can't keep the old routines and expect a new reality. You can't keep the same mindset and expect a different result. You can't rebuild while protecting the ruins. Understand this. The destruction process isn't comfortable. It's not supposed to be. You're tearing away pieces of identity that have kept you safe for years. But safety is the enemy of greatness. Every time you protect comfort, you delay your evolution. Every time you defend your weakness, you reject your strength. You have a choice. Every single day. Destroy the old pattern or live another day trapped by it. That's how simple this is. Not easy, but simple. Stop saying, "That's just how I am." No. That's how you decided to be. That's how you allowed yourself to be. You are not your habits. You are not your fears. You are not your past mistakes. You are what you decide to do today, repeatedly, relentlessly, without apology. When you choose to destroy the old identity, you stop negotiating with your past. You stop explaining your weakness. You stop needing validation for your pain. You start acting like the person you said you wanted to become. Think about this. Every version of you that existed before this moment was just a test. Some parts served you. Some didn't. But none of them define you now. The old identity is heavy. It's filled with guilt, fear, comparison, hesitation. You carry it everywhere you go, and it slows you down. You have to drop it. Walk away from it. Let it die. Because you can't rebuild while protecting the ruins. Let me give you a truth. Destruction is not failure. It's preparation. Every time you feel like your world is falling apart, it's actually clearing space. Clearing space for a stronger foundation, a sharper mindset, a more powerful purpose. You don't grow in peace, you grow in friction. You don't evolve in comfort, you evolve in chaos. You have to learn to see destruction as discipline. The process that separates the old you from the unstoppable one that's waiting underneath. Here's what you do. First, identify your weak identity traits. Be brutally honest. Do you seek attention? Do you overthink everything? Do you talk more than you act? Do you give in to moods, emotions, excuses? Write them down. Every single one. Then ask yourself, who told me I needed to be this way? Was it your environment? Your friends? Your upbringing? Your fears? It doesn't matter. All of that is part of the old programming. And it's time to wipe the system clean. You can't rebuild while protecting the ruins. Next, rebuild your mindset with action. Not affirmation, action. You don't think your way into a new identity. You act your way into it. Start doing the things the new you would do even before you feel ready. Wake up earlier. Speak less. Work more. Hold yourself accountable in silence. You don't need their permission. You don't need their approval. You don't even need their understanding. You just need discipline. Because discipline is what transforms destruction into construction. Every time you act with discipline, you lay a brick of the new you. Every day you stay consistent, you build another wall of strength. Every choice to delay comfort becomes cement in your foundation. That's how you rebuild. That's how you rise. People will notice the shift. They'll ask, "What happened to you?" And you'll smile because they're talking to the ghost of your old identity. You don't need to explain the change. You just live it. Understand this. Transformation doesn't require witnesses. It requires commitment. Commitment to destruction. Commitment to solitude. Commitment to a higher version of yourself that doesn't yet exist but will, if you keep burning the old layers away. You have a choice. Every single day. Be who you were or become who you're meant to be. Remember, destruction isn't chaos, it's cleansing. It's what happens before every rebirth. You must empty your hands before you can receive new power. You must silence your old self before you can hear your true purpose. You can't rebuild while protecting the ruins. So let it go. Let go of your self-pity. Let go of the need to be understood. Let go of the person who always explains, always defends, always hesitates. Because from now on, you're not defending your past, you're building your future. And to do that, you must burn everything that no longer serves you. When you rise from those ashes, you'll feel lighter, stronger, focused, unshakable. That's the beginning of power, not when you add more, but when you remove everything false. You'll realize that isolation isn't emptiness, it's the workshop of rebirth. That silence isn't punishment, it's clarity. That destruction isn't loss, it's liberation. This is where the real journey begins, alone, disciplined, relentless. You can't rebuild while protecting the ruins. So burn the old identity. Stand in the fire. And start forging the person you were always meant to be. You've torn down the weak foundations. You've faced the fire. Now it's time to learn where true strength is built, not in comfort, but in solitude. Chapter 2. Isolation is your training ground. There's a difference between being alone and being empty. Loneliness is a void. Isolation is a weapon. Solitude is where you train your mind, discipline your emotions, and sharpen your focus. When you're alone, you're not escaping the world, you're preparing to master it. Every hour in solitude is a rep. A rep for clarity. A rep for patience. A rep for control. Because alone doesn't mean empty. Alone means becoming. The problem is, most people fear being alone because they're terrified of meeting their real self. They fill every silence with noise, scrolling, calling, escaping. They can't sit still because the moment they do, the truth starts speaking. But that's exactly why solitude is necessary. It's in the quiet that your weaknesses surface. It's in the quiet that your excuses echo back. It's in the quiet that you finally see who's been holding you back, and it's you. Alone doesn't mean empty. Alone means becoming. Isolation isn't punishment. It's preparation. When you're alone, you're not being left behind, you're stepping ahead. You're separating yourself from distractions that weaken your will. You're detaching from people who drain your focus. You're removing yourself from environments that celebrate mediocrity. You have a choice: fill your time with noise or fill your time with growth. That's the key. Isolation is where you build habits that the crowd will never understand. It's where you wake up earlier, train harder, read deeper, and plan further. It's where you stop reacting to life and start designing it. Alone doesn't mean empty. Alone means becoming. Think of solitude as your mental gym. Every moment alone is a set, a repetition, a deliberate exercise in self-control. When your mind starts to wander, bring it back. That's a rep of focus. When your emotions rise and you choose calm, that's a rep of mastery. When you want to quit and stay comfortable but you keep working, that's a rep of mental toughness. You're training in silence for a world that rewards noise. And that's what makes you different. You don't need applause. You don't need approval. You don't even need company. You need commitment. Commitment to your evolution. Commitment to the process. Commitment to being alone long enough to hear your own thoughts. Because alone doesn't mean empty. Alone means becoming. Here's the truth. Growth demands separation. To grow, you have to disconnect. From the crowd, from comfort, from validation. The strongest people in history all trained in silence before they were ever seen. Before every rise, there was retreat. Before every revelation, there was isolation. Before every victory, there was silence. You can't see the mountain clearly while you're in the crowd at the bottom. You have to climb alone. You have to get distance. You have to earn the view. That's why solitude matters. It gives you perspective that noise will never provide. Alone doesn't mean empty. Alone means becoming. Isolation tests you. It exposes your habits, your distractions, your dependency on others. When no one's watching, you see who you really are. Do you still work when no one praises you? Do you still stay disciplined when there's no one to remind you? Do you still move forward when there's no spotlight? That's where greatness is born, in the dark, unseen hours. When you learn to stay consistent with no validation, you become unstoppable. Because now your power doesn't come from approval, it comes from discipline. And discipline built in solitude cannot be broken in public. That's the secret. That's the formula. You have to fall in love with being alone because it's the only place you meet the person you're destined to become. Alone doesn't mean empty. Alone means becoming. Here's how you start. First, remove the noise. Turn off the constant stream of distraction that's keeping you comfortable and confused. Silence your phone. Limit your conversations. Spend time without input. You'll feel uncomfortable at first. That's withdrawal. You're detoxing from dependency. You've been conditioned to think productivity equals connection, but real progress comes from isolation. Next, schedule your solitude. Make it a habit, not an accident. Wake up earlier. Walk without music. Write your thoughts. Train without posting about it. Each of these moments becomes a ritual of focus, a daily ceremony of self-mastery. And then reflect. Use solitude to understand, not escape. Ask yourself powerful questions. What am I doing that no longer serves me? What am I avoiding? What needs to die so I can evolve? That's where transformation begins. Alone doesn't mean empty. Alone means becoming. When you start embracing isolation, people will misunderstand you. They'll say you've changed. They'll think you're distant. They'll call you cold. But that's fine. They don't understand the process. They're seeing the cocoon and calling it hiding. You're building wings, not walls. You're not running away from people. You're running toward purpose. You're not isolating to escape. You're isolating to evolve. You don't need their understanding. You don't need their permission. You just need to keep becoming. Every time you choose solitude over distraction, you move closer to strength. Every time you sit in silence and listen to your thoughts, you take power back from the noise. Every time you build in private, you become unstoppable in public. Alone doesn't mean empty. Alone means becoming. Remember this. The world rewards those who can think for themselves. And you can't think for yourself if you never spend time with yourself. Isolation is not the enemy, it's the forge. It's where your clarity sharpens. It's where your patience grows. It's where your confidence builds without applause. When you can be alone and still feel whole, you become dangerous. Because no one can use silence to control you. No one can take your peace, your focus, or your purpose, because you built it in solitude. Alone doesn't mean empty. Alone means becoming. So step away. Disappear for a while. Not to hide, but to heal. Not to escape, but to evolve. Not to quit, but to prepare. Because when you return, you'll return focused. You'll return disciplined. You'll return powerful. You'll be the one who trained in silence while everyone else was distracted by noise. You'll be the one who built strength in the shadows while everyone chased validation in the light. You'll be the one who found peace alone and brought it back as power. That's the purpose of isolation. That's the path to transformation. Alone doesn't mean empty. Alone means becoming. You've learned to embrace solitude. You've learned that silence is strength, not weakness. Now it's time to address the next trap, the craving for approval that keeps people small. Chapter 3. Stop chasing validation. No one needs to understand you. You've been taught to seek approval, to wait for someone to notice, to measure your worth by the applause you receive. That stops today. The need to be understood is the root of weakness. It makes you dependent. It makes you reactive. It makes you small. You don't need applause to be powerful. Say it again. You don't need applause to be powerful. Say it until it sinks into your bones, because everything you do from now on must be independent of approval. Look around. Most people are living their lives on the back of validation. They only act when someone is watching. They only speak when someone is listening. They only grow when someone notices. That is weakness. That is average. That is everything you are burning away from your old identity. You have a choice. You can continue to perform for the crowd, or you can work in silence where transformation truly happens. You don't need applause to be powerful. Great transformations happen in silence. The strongest people are never seeking recognition while they build. They move quietly. They act relentlessly. They measure progress by discipline, not by reactions. When no one claps for you, keep working. When no one notices your effort, double your output. When no one believes in you, double your focus. Because belief from others is temporary. Discipline lasts forever. Effort produces results, not validation. You don't need applause to be powerful. The world will never understand the battles you fight alone. It will never comprehend the hours you dedicate in private. It will never recognize the sacrifices you make while everyone else sleeps. And that is fine. You are not working for them. You are working for the version of yourself that is being forged in silence. The people who truly understand will only arrive later. They will witness results, not explanations. They will respect power, not excuses. You don't need applause to be powerful. Here is the key truth. Validation is a crutch. It is a chain. It is the reason you have stayed average. When you rely on others to approve, you give your power away. You hand over control of your life to opinions, moods, and fleeting judgments. Stop it. Stop seeking permission. Stop explaining yourself. Stop measuring progress through recognition. You don't need applause to be powerful. Your focus must shift inward. Measure yourself by your own standards. Judge yourself by your own effort. Reward yourself by your own discipline. Every time you resist the urge to explain, justify, or seek approval, you are growing. Every time you keep working while others doubt, you are winning. Every time you prioritize your mission over understanding, you are becoming unstoppable. You don't need applause to be powerful. Think about the people you admire. The truly great, the extraordinary, the unshakable. Did they wait for permission to act? No. They didn't ask for validation. They didn't seek applause. They didn't need anyone to understand them. They moved alone. They acted relentlessly. They trusted themselves first. That is the model. Follow it. Do not wait for anyone else to approve of your transformation. You don't need applause to be powerful. This also applies to criticism. Critics will come. They will mock. They will doubt. They will misinterpret your actions. Let them. Your growth is not dependent on their understanding. Your success is not defined by their opinion. Your power is internal, and it cannot be granted or revoked by anyone else. When no one claps, work harder. When no one believes, focus deeper. When the world misunderstands, move forward anyway. You don't need applause to be powerful. Let me give you a practical exercise. Next time you work on something important, do it privately. Do not announce it. Do not share it. Do not seek recognition. Notice how uncomfortable it feels at first. Notice the urge to tell someone. Notice the desire for validation. Resist it. Push through it. Build in silence. Master the habit of private excellence. You don't need applause to be powerful. Here's the final truth. Your transformation is a personal journey. It is a fight only you can fight. It is a craft only you can perfect. Those who understand will eventually follow your example. Those who doubt will eventually watch your success. Those who criticize will eventually fall silent in the face of your results. Until then, work in silence. Act relentlessly. Trust yourself completely. You don't need applause to be powerful. Remember this for life. Validation is optional. Approval is irrelevant. Understanding is unnecessary. Your only responsibility is to yourself, to your growth, to your transformation, to the discipline that no one can see but you. You have a choice. Continue chasing recognition and remain weak. Or embrace silence, trust your effort, and become unstoppable. You don't need applause to be powerful. You've learned to ignore the crowd and act for yourself. You've learned that recognition is a distraction. Next, we will explore how to use the inevitable pain of growth as fuel for unstoppable strength. Chapter 4. Pain is the doorway to power. Pain is not your enemy. It is not a sign to quit. It is not a punishment. Pain is the fire that burns off everything fake inside you. Everything weak. Everything comfortable. Everything holding you back from who you were meant to become. Suffer deliberately, grow endlessly. Say it. Suffer deliberately, grow endlessly. Let it sink into your mind, because this chapter is about changing how you see struggle. Every struggle you face is a signal. It is a message telling you where to grow next. Every discomfort, every loss, every moment of failure is pointing you to the next level. Most people run from pain. Most people numb it. Most people pretend it doesn't exist. That is weakness. That is stagnation. That is why they never become powerful. You have a choice. You can avoid struggle and remain average, or you can embrace it and become unstoppable. Suffer deliberately, grow endlessly. Pain is a teacher disguised as difficulty. It reveals your fears. It exposes your limitations. It forces you to confront the truth you have been avoiding. When your body aches, push it further. When your mind doubts, challenge it more. When your emotions resist, command them to obey. Every ounce of resistance is an opportunity. Every hardship is a chance to build strength. Every moment you want to quit is the exact moment to press harder. Suffer deliberately, grow endlessly. Think about the strongest people you know. Do you believe they avoided pain? Do you think they escaped struggle? No. They leaned into it. They let discomfort mold them. They allowed suffering to shape their character. You can do the same. Stop fearing the fire. Step into it with intent. Use it as your forge. Suffer deliberately, grow endlessly. Here is the truth. Pain cannot be avoided. Life will hit you. Life will challenge you. Life will punish you if you stay soft. The question is not whether it will happen. The question is, will you use it? Every setback is fuel. Every loss is instruction. Every heartbreak, every failure, every disappointment is a lesson disguised as suffering. Do not waste it. Do not ignore it. Do not escape it. Suffer deliberately, grow endlessly. Most people see pain and shrink. You must see pain and expand. You must see struggle and recognize the opportunity it carries. You must see difficulty as a map pointing to your next level. Pain is proof that you are alive. Pain is proof that you are growing. Pain is proof that you are breaking the old version of yourself and building the new. Suffer deliberately, grow endlessly. Here's how you train with pain. Step 1. Feel it. Do not numb it. Do not distract yourself. Do not run. Step 2. Analyze it. Ask the question, what is this trying to teach me? Look for the lesson hidden beneath the discomfort. Every struggle contains wisdom if you are willing to look. Step 3. Act on it. Apply the lesson immediately. Change the behavior. Strengthen the habit. Confront the fear. Suffer deliberately, grow endlessly. Pain also separates the weak from the strong. Weak people complain. They blame. They justify. Strong people act. They endure. They transform. This is not theory. This is fact. Your response to pain determines the trajectory of your life. You have a choice. Shrink under pressure, or rise above it. Suffer deliberately, grow endlessly. Do not confuse comfort with success. Do not confuse ease with power. Power is forged in fire. Power is built through resistance. Power comes to those who willingly step into the flames and endure when everyone else turns away. You must be willing to hurt. You must be willing to fail. You must be willing to endure what most people cannot. Suffer deliberately, grow endlessly. Now, let me remind you of one more truth. The world will try to protect you from pain. Friends, family, mentors, even society itself will encourage safety. They will tell you to slow down. They will tell you to stay comfortable. They will tell you that struggle is unnecessary. Ignore them. Their safety is not your strength. Their comfort is not your growth. Suffer deliberately, grow endlessly. Every day, take one step toward what hurts. Push one extra hour. Lift one extra rep. Say one hard truth. Do one thing that terrifies you. Each deliberate act of suffering builds your resilience. Each embrace of discomfort strengthens your will. Each encounter with pain shapes the version of you that cannot be broken. Suffer deliberately, grow endlessly. Remember this: there is no shortcut. There is no avoidance. There is no painless path to power. Strength is earned in the moments when you want to quit. Discipline is forged when you face resistance and persist. Confidence is built when you endure what others run from. You have a choice every moment: shrink or rise. Choose to rise. Step into the fire. Use the pain. Suffer deliberately, grow endlessly. You've learned to use pain as fuel. You've learned that struggle is a guide, not a threat. Next, we will focus on building unbreakable routines, the habits that turn the lessons of pain into permanent strength. Chapter 5. Build unbreakable routines in the dark. Discipline is built when no one is watching. Not when motivation strikes. Not when energy is high. Not when the world is cheering for you. It is built in the dark. When you are tired. When no one cares. When every excuse in your mind screams to stop. Your routine is your religion. Say it again. Your routine is your religion. Because how you act when no one sees defines who you are. Most people wait for inspiration. They wait for the perfect moment. They wait for someone to remind them. That is weakness. That is why they never rise. Discipline doesn't wait. It doesn't negotiate. It doesn't need applause. Your routine is your religion. Think about it. Every powerful person you admire has one thing in common: structure. They act consistently. They repeat habits daily. They do what must be done regardless of desire. Isolation gives you full control over your schedule. It gives you full control over your environment. It gives you full control over your mind. When no one is watching, your choices matter more than ever. No distractions. No excuses. No justification. Your routine is your religion. This is where you separate yourself from the crowd. The world rewards consistency, not bursts of effort. The world rewards discipline, not motivation. When you wake up before the sun. When you work in silence. When you focus on the long-term goal instead of immediate comfort. You are building unbreakable routines. You are training your mind. You are becoming unstoppable. Your routine is your religion. Let me give you a practical framework. First, define your non-negotiables. What will you do every day no matter what? It could be waking up at 5 a.m. It could be writing for an hour. It could be exercising. It could be reading. No excuses. No exceptions. These are sacred. Your routine is your religion. Next, guard your time fiercely. Remove distractions. Turn off your phone. Avoid unnecessary social interactions. Your hours are valuable. Treat them like gold. When the world is asleep or distracted, that is your advantage. Use it. Act when no one else will. Your routine is your religion. Consistency beats talent. Effort beats inspiration. Persistence beats motivation. Habits repeated daily compound into unstoppable power. This is why building in the dark is essential. No applause. No recognition. Just relentless execution. Your routine is your religion. Isolation also strengthens your will. When no one is watching, you learn to say no to temptations. You learn to ignore excuses. You learn to value long-term gains over short-term comfort. The more you practice discipline alone, the less anyone or anything can shake you. Your routine becomes a fortress. Your discipline becomes unbreakable. Your routine is your religion. Here's the truth. Motivation is temporary. Excitement fades. Energy fluctuates. But habits built in darkness endure. Habits built in discipline persist. Habits built when no one is watching define your destiny. Do it every day. Do it relentlessly. Do it even when you don't feel like it. Your routine is your religion. Every action you repeat daily shapes your identity. If you repeat laziness, weakness becomes your identity. If you repeat focus, strength becomes your identity. If you repeat discipline, power becomes your identity. This is the essence of transformation. It's not in bursts of effort or moments of inspiration. It's in repeated, deliberate, consistent actions. Your routine is your religion. Do not rely on others to hold you accountable. Do not wait for someone to notice your effort. Do not seek approval. This is your work, your growth, Your responsibility. Isolation gives you the clarity to execute without distraction. It gives you the freedom to structure your day exactly how you need. It gives you the power to make your mission non-negotiable. Your routine is your religion. Every day push a little further. Wake a little earlier. Work a little harder. Focus a little longer. Each repetition strengthens your foundation. Each disciplined act solidifies your identity. Each ignored distraction sharpens your focus. Your routine is your religion. Remember this: success is invisible until it is undeniable. The hours you spend working in silence will never be seen, but they will always be felt. You will notice your energy, your clarity, your focus, and your ability to dominate when the world is distracted. That is the power of routines built in darkness. Your routine is your religion. So embrace it, protect it, harden it. This is where greatness is forged. This is where discipline becomes unshakable. This is where you become unstoppable. Your routine is your religion. You've learned the power of consistent action and unbreakable routines. You were never meant to stay the same. The old you was built to survive. This new version is built to dominate. Every hour you spend alone, every temptation you resist, every silence you sit through, is a brick in your foundation of power. You've burned the old identity. Now it's time to rebuild, not with talk, not with emotion, but with relentless daily execution. Don't seek motivation. Seek mastery. Don't wait for understanding. Create results. Don't explain your change. Live it. From this moment forward, isolation is no longer your weakness. It's your weapon. Destroy the old you. Rebuild yourself alone. And when you return to the world, make sure they don't recognize you.